So
What are Yugos?
yeah, I was going to say, do you even know what a Yugo is? So Yugos are cars. In the 1980s, they were cars that were imported from Yugoslavia.
Okay, Yugos.
Yugo from Yugoslavia.
Yeah, okay.
They were the cheapest new car that you could buy on the market. They started at $4,000 for a brand new Yugo in like 84, 85. So you're in the middle of the Cold War still. And the economy is still a little bit rough. And so people were like, man, like these are amazing. Like you can buy a brand new car for $4,000.
Did it come with the motor?
It did. It was a 55 horsepower motor.
Okay.
So when you were going up a hill, someone did need to push you a little bit.
Is that
You need a tailwind as you're going down the road, right?
We should drive around this hill.
Right. Like you would now ask Siri, don't worry about toll roads, avoid all inclines.
Anything above 2%.
Yeah. I mean, lawnmowers have more than 50. A lot of lawnmowers have more than 55 horsepower, right? It's very, very low horsepower, but like it was a car. So I was like, hey, I got this Dodge Charger I could buy, but it's going to cost me like $10,000, or I could buy this Yugo for $4,000.
Yeah.
And so people would buy the Yugos.
Too funny.
The reason why they flopped is because people found out you get what you pay for. So,
and not fast.
Yeah, people described it as like it felt like it was a car that was put together with spare parts.
Yeah.
So it was the IKEA of cars. You know, the doors didn't align. You would have to like try to manually align your doors. They would fall. The knobs and of all the windows would fall off. The doorknobs would fall. Like you'd close your door and it would just like come off in your hand.
Yeah.
So and then they had they finally figured out safety was an issue because they realized, safety was optional with Yugos. They were the worst cars for any safety crash test, anything. Like they just crumpled. They were using low quality metals. They weren't structurally engineered. It was like, well, you have a frame that you could put seats on and a small motor.
That's so funny.
Oh, they're terrible. Yeah. So
I wonder if they're like collectibles now. If someone has one, how much they're worth?
Probably, I would assume not.
Yeah,
I would assume not.
I don't think it's a relic of some sort.
There's some things. There's trash is just always trash. You know what I mean? It's like what about this rotten? It's like, well, it's still rotting. Well, if there are, I'm sure there's some left. I'm sure somewhere in a museum somewhere they want them just so you can see like. Poor decisions were made. You know what I mean? Yeah, they rusted out. And so there's probably, if they didn't crash, you'd have rust problems because they were using low quality metals and paint. Yeah. And so it would just rust out very quickly. The repair system was terrible, so they didn't have a lot of parts because it was imported. Mechanics weren't familiar with how to work on them, and the support was spotty at best from the dealership. So you had really no support. You couldn't get them worked on. The parts were scarce. It was trash, and you needed parts because they were falling apart all the time. And you're like, well, maybe I could get off this other Yugo. No, that one was broken too.
We actually use different parts on that one.
Yeah. It's like, I found one quote. They said, owning a Yugo was like announcing, I hate money and I hate good decision making.
I hate money and I like that. So, this is pretty much burning.
Oh yeah.
It was worse than buying fireworks.
Right. It's terrible. And nobody, very quickly, nobody wanted to be associated with them. So you couldn't sell it. Nobody would buy it from you.
After a while, it's just reputation got out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think about that. I was like, that's how people view, unfortunately, people think I'm going to get Toyota. Yeah. Right? Like Toyota's like a Japanese brand, or Honda is a Japanese brand. That's what I'm going to get when I buy the Yugo. Yeah. No, there's a reason why the Toyota was still more expensive than the Yugo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's so funny as consumers, though, how we do, most of us at some point or another will buy the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
In hopes that it is the quality of these other more expensive, elaborate brands. I don't know. It's never, there's very few brands that have actually been able to keep up with a decent price brand. Like very rarely can you buy something that's going to last you to the quality and
you understand when you're buying those different things, right? Because you still have like, so look, we'll use an example of a Toyota, right? So I have a Toyota truck, and you have a Chevy. Mm-hmm. The difference is, I think Toyota is a good truck. Mm-hmm. Like it's reliable. They'll run for a long time. They're great in off-roading. The price point is a little different than buying a brand new Chevy. Mm-hmm. If you buy a brand new Chevy Z71, you're going to pay a little bit more than buying a Toyota Tacoma. Mm-hmm. But when you're riding in a brand new Chevy Z71, your ride experience mm-hmm. is different mm-hmm. than riding in the Toyota Tacoma, mm-hmm. right? Like your truck, I went someplace with you and I was like, man, like your truck rides a lot smoother. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more comfortable on the interior, right? So you still, like, even though Toyota might be able to keep up with Chevy, or there could be an argument back and forth of which one's better of reliability, but like there'd be similar quality builds, the experience of the drive is still going to be different.
Right.
So we made in our last segment, we made a comment about Timex versus Rolex, right? Mm-hmm. Like some people are like, well, Timex keeps time just as well as a Rolex keeps time.
Right.
I don't know, like maybe over time we can make the argument of one versus the other. But your experience of wearing a Rolex mm-hmm. versus the experience of wearing a Timex, mm-hmm. I'm assuming is different. I don't know no Rolex.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know where it does come to play, or an experience I had is totally random, but in regards to experience, is a really expensive towel to dry with.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were at a hotel that we were at this retreat thing, and they had really nice towels. And apparently I buy cheap towels because they're a little rougher.
Yeah.
And it's this one,
you're sanding
and you can
off.
say, right, like they dry the same. Like, yeah, but the experience is vastly different. This felt like it was made to be soft on your body and dry you.
Encompassed you and absorbed the moisture.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one's like beating the moisture off of you.
Yeah. So I realized like we don't buy good towels, which we still don't, but just realizing like there is something about quality that when you we were having a conversation earlier about the steak. You brought the Denny's steak thing, right?
Yeah.
I remember like I've never had a good steak until I was like 25 at a restaurant where you have to pay for a good steak. And I remember biting it for the first time going.
You're saying good things. You can say Herb Neiman's. They're local.
Yeah,
they're local.
Yeah.
They got a good steak.
Yeah. So I ate there for the first time and just realizing this is good steak. Yep. This is worth paying for. Like the experience is worth paying for. And so, so there is, but again, I think sometimes when a Yugo comes out,
right, we're all like, oh no, it's the same. It's going to be good. I'm like, is it? Is it though? Like, yeah, you got a steak from Denny's. It's a steak. It's a T-bone. Yeah. A Yugo, it's a car. It's got 4 doors. It's got a motor. It's got 4 wheels.
There, maybe.
Right. Well, it'll drive. Kind of. And I think that's what I would say, like what we were talking about with insurance in the last segment. Like that's the big difference I'm always trying to get people to understand is that it's not just about what you see on your declaration page, but it's the details, right? And it's that way in everything, and it's what you want, right? Like some people, I didn't want to go and get into the iPhone Android discussion because I know that's somewhat cultish between the two. Like people who are Android people think that
you'll divide your audience.
Oh yeah, big time. So we'll just leave it at that. But the idea is still, whether you're an iPhone user or you're an Android user, you're buying it because the experience is different. Right. The features are different. They're both phones.
Yep.
But if you're an Android user and you have to use an iPhone, you're frustrated.
Yep.
Because it's not what you're wanting. It's not what you're expecting, even though you got a phone.
Right.
Or if you're an iPhone user, now you're given an Android, you're like, I can't use this.
Right. And you can do that with a lot of things. Like the steak, like people that really like steaks.
Oh.
They'll what'd you season it with? How long did you cook it for? Like they'll go into the details of like
how long was it aged?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and it is that thing is like when quality and experience matters, people become aware of details.
Yeah. I was thinking like even more basic is like a house, right? You can buy a house.
Yes.
Like, well, I bought a house. Like, would you just leave it at that?
Yeah.
Like, well, when was it built? Yeah. Like, how big is the house? What kind of siding does it have? What kind of roofing does it have?
Yes.
What kind of electrical? What kind of plumbing? Like all of those components, the things you don't see, make a huge difference in how that house is going to operate. Right? Like, we use biodegradables. You're like, oh, that's probably not a great idea. Right? It's like, it's degrading around you.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's just, it's 150 years old and nothing's ever been done to it. It's like, well, you got your work cut out for you.
Right.
You bought a house, but you bought a project.
Right.
So it's not necessarily bad, right? If that's what you're expecting and that's what you want to do.
Right.
But you do get what you pay for. You're not going to spend, I'm going to use West Coast numbers, right? You're not going to spend $300,000 on a house on the West Coast and get a nice big new house, right?
No,
you don't, like, you have to spend $500,000-$600,000 to get that, right? You're like, oh, I bought a house for $300,000. You know. If someone tells you like, oh, I bought a house for $300,000, you're like, I know. I know you didn't just buy a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,400 square foot house on 5 acres.
No.
In the West Coast. Like maybe other places you did, but not in the West Coast. Yeah. Right. So we know that intuitively you get what you pay for. Right. But for some reason, we still think we're the ones
into it.
Yeah. We're like, oh no, I got the good deal on this one.
Yeah. And it all depends on what we want it, how we want to do it. Or, the car thing is like, well, it gets, to a degree, there is something about like, well, as long as it gets me from A to B, like, okay, cool. But then other things are important to us. I want my steak aged in this degree because I like the taste, right? So, but even all of us, we all have these. We
have our preferences, the things that we're willing to pay for. But even in that with the car, like my mom was like that. So I'm going to give this example.
Until she drives into.
So we were buying her a new car, and I was like, okay, what do you want? She's like, I just want some basic car. It just needs to get me from point A to point B. I'm like, okay. I was like, was there anything you care about? Like, what about a backup camera? She's like, oh yeah, backup camera would be good. I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, and those blind spot detectors. She's like, those would be good. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then she's like, and heated seats are really nice. I'm like, okay. And she's like, and a heated steering wheel and heated mirrors. And I'd like to have like the, where it's like adaptive cruise control. And I'm like, okay, so just a basic car that has all the options of the luxury car, but just a basic car. Yeah. Right.
So a basic price, please.
Yeah. Just what? Right. It's like, why is this one more? I'm like, because that one has everything you want, Mom.
That is true. Because going back to the steak place with Herb Newman's is, I've not care to eat any like steak anywhere else unless it's going to be good steak.
Right.
Like,
right. You've been ruined now for steak.
Like, I need a good steak.
You're not going to go to Denny's and get steak.
I'll eat bad steak, but like if we're going to go and I'm going to eat steak, I want it to be good steak.
Right.
Like that's now the standard.
When it like clunks, when they put it on the plate and goes clunk, you're like, I'm good.
Right. Yeah. So that is true. I think some of it is until you experience different things, you realize, wait, I actually like those things. Yeah. I actually like the experience or the feeling that is true. Yeah. That's so funny.
And with cars though too, like my other point was gonna be like the Yugo would seem like it would be like people were buying the Yugo because they're like, oh, I just need nothing fancy, just get me there. But then you realize like, well, actually it doesn't get me there. I bought it, but I need a tailwind to get there. And I probably can't open my door when I get there because the handle probably came off.
Some experiences matter. Yeah. I got to be able to open my door. I got to,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Like then we just really boil it down to the basics. I'd like it to drive. And I need to do be able to do the speed limit.
Right.
Eventually,
yeah. I don't need to be a race car, but
at some point I want to be able to get up to the speed limit.
Yeah, I don't want the wheel to fall off every time I hit a bump.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So
Yugo. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, you should. I try to remember the name of the movie. I think Danny DeVito was in it. There's like who killed somebody or another. I'm drawing the blank on it. And they had Yugos throughout the whole movie, and it was so funny. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm totally that way. My wife Katie would be so mad. Like she gets mad at sometimes because I buy the cheapest things just to be frustrated with him afterwards. Like I bought a brand of drill bit things that I'm like, oh, it's the cheapest. And, like on a compact drill, you can buy tips that are magnetic.
Yep.
That then like hold your screws. So it's just a little bit easier. So this brand, the magnet's there, but it is weak. It is terrible.
It doesn't quite hold it.
No,
it's like just for a second, and then you move it and it drops.
Seriously. And I was like, this is the worst. Like, especially when you're doing a lot of projects and stuff. But
it was cheaper.
The drill bit before was really good, but it had worn out and stuff. So then I, bought this next set and I realized this sucks. But that's what I get. I often fall into that trap
Drowning Mona is the name of the movie that I was trying to think of. It's not Killing Someone, it's Drowning Mona. But that one is, it's pretty funny. It's kind of a dry movie, but they have the Yugo
in there. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Gerald, taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
We're educating you on 1980s imported cars that sucked. Yes. So go look it up. And so, all right. Thanks, guys, again for joining us. Until next time, have a great day.